There are those glass half full type of people, and there are those glass half empty type of people. But since I can't afford that fucking glass, I'm more of a plastic cup with a hole in it kind of guy. Now, do you want to know the most effective way to lose all of your pride? It starts with losing your job, and then all of your money, and eventually your house, so you have to move back in with your mother when you're 31 years old. And then, in order to make ends meet, you take a call center recruitment job with the evil empire at a for-profit college or institute, which is just code for fake scam school. And that was me 2 years ago. And I don't think I can say the name of my school because that would be libel, and they have a very aggressive legal department, kind of like the Church of Scientology. But when I took the job, they gave me a great salary, but I quickly learned that it was blood money. And I remember walking home from my first day at work, hyperventilating from an anxiety attack, wondering how I could survive another day. It turned into a long and dark year and a half. And as a recruiter, I sat in a bullpen with 15 other assholes on telephones, and every day we were given a list of leads to call. Very few of them were legitimate. People who had been to our website after watching a commercial on Maury or Jerry Springer. And those leads were only given to the top performing recruiters. For new guys like me, I was given leads that were bought by a third-party agency, and it felt a lot like cold calling. And I learned that most of those leads were stolen from job applications that were submitted to minimum wage, retail, and fast food chains. And we were required to make 150 phone calls a day. And there was a system in place so they could track the phone calls and determine whether or not they were in our database. So you couldn't just call your cell phone repeatedly all day. And most of the people I spoke with had already talked to other recruiters and had been receiving phone calls 4 or 5 times a day for months. But management would say, just because someone's not interested today doesn't mean they won't be interested tomorrow. My workday was pretty much being cursed off all day long. But I would go through the script and try to get these students to come in for a tour. And the tour was designed so that they would apply for school without even knowing it. It was all smoke and mirrors. And the goal was to get them to have their financial aid package. And our financial aid team was known for forging documents. And so, we didn't sell these students bullshit loans. We just used their social security numbers in order to steal government funding. A lot of our students were homeless. A lot of them were violent ex-cons. We had a lot of fights on campus. We had a lot of guns drawn. We found prison shank knives hidden throughout the campus. We had bed bug outbreaks, and we had multiple students who were arrested in class after committing homicides and brutal violent rapes that same day. And the worst part was open enrollment. During the first 2 weeks of school, we could continue enrolling students. And so if you were conducting a tour, there was a lot of pressure to walk them straight to a classroom and get them to sit down, because that's when the school could start charging them. And the school would offer free food every day for the first 2 weeks to make sure that they would came to class. And it was crap food, cheap stuff like pizza and hot dogs. And a lot of our students were Muslim, and the school would serve pork hot dogs because they were cheaper than beef and not tell the students. It was a rotten organization, and almost everyone who worked there were horrible human beings. And I fell into the deepest depression of my life. I had lost all of my pride, and then I stopped caring. I became something of a cross between Edward Norton in Fight Club and Rod Livingston in Office Space. I became a complete mess who had 0 fucks to give. I refused to enroll students because I might have lost my pride, but I made sure that I kept part of my soul. Excuse me. Yeah. So this went on for a while, and I was documenting every illegal thing I saw, and my boss knew that, and he hated me. But the feeling was mutual, and it became sort of a battle of wills, which was difficult because he was a former Marine sergeant. He was trying to make my life so bad that I would give up and quit, but I was really just trying to get fired so I could collect my unemployment. I was drinking a lot, sometime on the job. Actually, a lot of times on the job. We had a lot of late night shifts, and I would go out during my dinner break, go to the nearest happy hour, and come back tanked, just telling knock-knock jokes on my phone calls. And then finally they discovered that I had been faking my phone calls. You see, we would harass people so much that a lot of them would disconnect their numbers, and so I just kept a list of disconnected phone numbers. And that was my life for a whole year. Sitting at my desk drunk, pretending to have conversations on the phone while my boss was watching me, while I listened to the operator recording telling me that this number had been disconnected. Finally, they called me into the office and told me that I was being let go, and it was the happiest moment of my life. I was practically skipping as security walked me to the exit, and I got my unemployment, which they fought, until they found out that the head of Philadelphia Legal Services was representing me in court, and her whole background was fighting for-profit colleges. But things got worse before they got better. I'll tell you, living off of unemployment is awesome for about a month. I was on it for 6. But I am now finally working again, and I can say for the first time that I love my job. I'm still not a glass half full kind of guy, but at least I got some duct tape on that hole at the bottom of my plastic cup. And with pride, I can say that I am now a full-time crew member, painter, and scaffold builder for the Philadelphia Mural Arts Program. And it feels great to have a little bit of my pride back. Thank you.